Bapak lah banyak kedepan sebuah sapi boy UN.
I'll be coming soon, but they rush me, I be down and I like making money. When you're my move, I'm getting honey. I dey call you, you dey come for me. I dey call you one day, need to pick up, I go show you shake it. This is so tight, so wet, so clean. I stop, on my G. Gang, 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 gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. When you're my, gang, gang, gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Touch my body, dance for me. You're spy batting all the dark. Many people know me, Sha. I like when they call me Sa. I'ma to show you back. Gang, 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 gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Why you ma? Gang, gang, gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Jelly, jelly, when you back, sempe. Taruto is the type of pepper. Wasting money on my love, that's keke. Oh, this girl so fine, my baby. Roll it down, baby, start to the cruise, body pain up and down. When I start to the move for my head, for my neck, for my shepherd. Ooh, ju, baby, jeje. Sorry, boy. Gang, 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 gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Why you ma? Gang, gang, gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah.
Bapak lah banyak kedepan sebuah sapi boy UN.
I'll be coming soon, but they rush me, I be down and I like making money. When you're my move, I'm getting honey. I dey call you, you dey come for me. I dey call you one day, need to pick up, I go show you shake it. This is so tight, so wet, so clean. I stop, on my G. Gang, 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 gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. When you're my, gang, gang, gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Touch my body, dance for me. You're spy batting all the dark. Many people know me, Sha. I like when they call me Sa. I'ma to show you back. Gang, 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 gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, baby, jeje. Sorry, boy. Gang, 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 gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Why you ma? Gang, gang, gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah.
Bapak lah banyak kedepan sebuah sapi boy UN.
I'll be coming soon, but they rush me, I be down and I like making money. When you're my move, I'm getting honey. I dey call you, you dey come for me. I dey call you one day, need to pick up, I go show you shake it. This is so tight, so wet, so clean. I stop, on my G. Gang, 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 gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Why you ma? Gang, gang, gang. We want, yeah, 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 yeah. We are not saying bang, 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 bang. Check it out till I say, yeah, yeah. Touch my body, dance for me. You're spy batting all the dark. Many people know know me, sha. I like when they call me sir. I'ma to show you back. Gang, 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 gang. We want jet, 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 jet. We are not same, bang, 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 bang. Check it out, feel like jet, yeah, yeah. Why you man? Gang, gang, gang. We want jet, 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 jet. We are not same, bang, 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 bang. Check it out, feel like jet, yeah, yeah. Jet, jelly, jet, jet. When you back, sempe. Taroto is the type of pepper. Wasting money on my love, that's keke. Oh, this girl so fine, my baby. Roll it down, baby, start to the cruise, body pain up and down. When I start to the move for my head, for my neck, for my chest. Uju, juju, baby, jet, jet. Sorry, boy. Gang, 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 gang. We want jet, 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 jet. We are not same, bang, 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 bang. Check it out, feel like jet, yeah, yeah. Why you man? Gang, gang, gang.
So I'm sorry for the delay. I was getting some things done. So we are kicking off. So sorry about the previous time. Airtel keeps messing people up, and things haven't been going pretty well with the internet. For some of you that are using Nigerian network, and some of us who are using Airtel, we are on the wrong side of history. Things haven't been working so perfectly with the Airtel network, but it's all good though. So we are going to start off today. So the last time we treated okay, so the sound is okay, so everything is perfect. So let us kick off with the things we have for today. So back to what we were saying. During our last class, we treated HTML attribute, and we weren't able to treat the styles and formatting before the network got the best of us, or the worst of us, if you may say. So we are going to treat HTML styles. Now, what are HTML styles? Yeah, HTML styles are a way we can add beautification to our HTML elements. They are just like CSS. So for us to do that, you have to understand a little bit of what CSS are. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. So let me quickly write it in here. So CSS, it stands for Cascading Style Sheet. So why it's called cascading is because of its hierarchy on how to deal with elements. So now for us to add the style attributes, remember the HTML CSS has the style attribute. So now to do that, we go ahead and type in story about that and type in style. So now this is the attribute you are going to use to work with our HTML style. So this is the attribute, and at the right hand side of the attribute comes the the value. So now we're going to impute real CSS values inside this attribute. So what we're going to do is we're going to use color. We're going to specify color to change the text color. You see it up here, it pops up here. And we're going to set the color. Let us go by blue violet, and then let's see what the changes does. So I've already hosted this stuff on port 5500. So if you haven't hosted it yet, you just go here and click go live. Remember, you guys, I told you to install Live Server. For those of you that haven't installed Live Server, if you click here on the extensions and you type in Live Server, the first one that pops up is the one you're going to install. Okay, back to our code. So now we've added this. Let's go to our browser and let us see. Okay, now you guys see that this one has a different color from the rest of them. So let us go to this heading 2 and change the color of heading 2 and see what it's going to be like. So we're going to pop up to our code again. We're going to go style, and we're going to go color again, and we're going to put it to, okay, let's say aqua. I like the color though. So when you go to your browser, you're going to see this one is looking different. So now, if you notice, we have manipulated our HTML element using the style attribute. So you can use that to write all type of CSS codes, and it will definitely work. So let's change the background style here. Let's change the background color. So you do background color, and let us make it I don't know how to pronounce this stuff, but you guys get the memo. So let's select this color here, and let us refresh our browser and see. Okay, like you guys see, it's no longer a white color. It's have taken a kind of brown type of color. So that is because we use the style attributes to change this color to manipulate this element as a whole. So now let us go back to our texts. Okay, so now we have done that. We have used the color for tests, and we've used the background color. We use the background color for the HTML. For the body tag, we used background color. Now we are going to use font size and text align with this font family. So we are going to do font size. Now we know that H6 originally H6 is smaller than H1. So we are going to increase the text size of H1. So for us to do that, we go back to our style and we do font size. Yeah, we do font size. So let us make our font size to be XXS large. I don't have the energy to go look for make it big. So let us go and do this here and save it. Let me come wait a minute. Let me restrict my WhatsApp from getting notifications. Okay, sorry. Yeah, let us mute. Okay, mute, turn off on screen. Okay, now I've done that, so let's clear this out. Okay, back to our code. So now we've made this H6 to be a bit larger, like SS large. So let us see the changes and how it's affecting it. Can you see H6 is almost the same size as H1? So now we've learned how to manipulate our text. We've learned how to manipulate our text using the font size. All right. So please, if you cannot hear me or if you cannot hear me properly, please make sure to send a message so that I can see and know how to adjust some things over there. So now we have dealt with the background color, the font size, and we are going to deal with text align. All right. So now what text align does, it aligns your text or your elements either at the center, at the end, or at the beginning. So let's go here. Okay, let's change this H3 or let's do H4 instead, and we do style and we do text align. You see it at the first place. Now you are going to see center, end, justify, left and right. So let us put it at center. So when we venture into HTML CSS properly, I'm going to tell you in details of how all of these things work. So can you now see this H4 is at the center of this page? All right, so this is what the text align does. This is how the text align works. So now we are done with the HTML styles. So we are going to go ahead to HTML formatting. So now to do that, for us to be able to notice what's going on properly, we are going to use the paragraph tag. All right, so let us write a paragraph real quick. So you guys remember how we write paragraph tags, and then let us write a little bit something. Let's do rorem5. So now this rorem is a template, is a word template that Visual Studio Code provides. It helps you to generate dummy text. You understand? So when we do rorem5, we've generated this thing. So now for us to format this text, we can choose to make this dollar to be bold. Now for us to do that, we come here and write the B tag that's responsible for making this text to be bold. Oh, sorry about that. For making this text to be bold, let's put it in here and we'll save. You guys are going to notice that this dollar is going to be bolder than the rest of the text in that paragraph. So if you go to our browser here, okay, so you guys can see, let me increase that. Okay, so you guys can see that the dollar is a bit bolder than the rest of the colors. So let us use our HTML formatting to make that text to be at the center. It kind of looks weird there, so let's do that. So let's say text align again, and let's make it center. Yeah, so we're going to save, and okay, yeah, this looks better. Okay, now you guys can see that this dollar is a bit stronger than the rest of the text, so that deals with this bold text. This one has been dealt with. So now let's go ahead to deal with this strong attribute. So what this strong tag does is it's basically the same thing with the bold text. Yeah, it's basically the same thing with the bold text. So that's what it does. So tag, it makes the same thing as the bold tag does. So we come here, and in here we're going to do, okay, let's do another paragraph. Yeah, so let's do p style. Oh god, it doesn't work like that in p. So let's do p. I'm going to go style, I'm going to go text align, and we're going to do rorem 5. Yeah, so now let's make this, sorry, let's make it center. Yeah, so let's make this rorem to be strong. Sorry, let's do strong. You guys see it here. So now let's copy this guy, Ctrl X, and put it in here, Ctrl V, and save it up. So when we get here, you guys are going to notice that it is the same thing he did here that he also did here. So basically the bold and the strong tag does the same thing. They actually do the same thing. So now we've dealt with the strong, so we are going to deal with this italic text and the the emphasized text, and mark small and deleted text, and after that we are going to do subscribe and subscribe. So now let us go ahead and deal with italic. So to do an italic text, all you have to do is write an I, which stands for italic. So let's copy this entire text here and put it here and save it, and let us see. So can you guys see that this text here looks like it's bent? Let me increase the screen size a little bit. Okay, so you guys see that this text here looks a little bit bent. Yeah, so that is what italic text does. So please, if you have any question so far, please go to the what. So let us emphasize this part. All right, so let us Ctrl X and write EM. You guys see it now, and we paste it in there, and we save it, and it's going to be like the same bold and stuff. You guys see, same thing as italic, it's bent. So that's what you are trying to tell a user, that this text is meant to tell a different story from the rest of the text in that paragraph or in that sentence. That's what it basically means. It means that it's telling a different story from the rest of the text. So now we've dealt with emphasized. The next one is mark. All right, so we are going to use the remaining part of our stuff to do that. So we're going to write mark. Okay, so as it appears, mark is no longer supported in HTML5, but it will still work. All right, so it's no longer supported, oh here it is, in HTML5, but it will still work. Yeah, so let us Ctrl X and put it in here. Okay, so let us go. Okay, oh, it still works. So you guys see now it's yellow. So what it's telling the browser is to highlight this text. You are telling the browser to please make sure to tell this user that this text that you are showing up here is entirely meant to be different from the rest of the text. So you guys understand? So you are telling the browser to treat this text differently. So now we have done with mark. So you guys might be wondering, how is it that when I get to a website and you see all this highlighted text and all that, they use Mac to do that? You can also do this with pure HTML, with pure CSS, but that's kind of a long journey to work. So the next thing we have on our list is the small, the del, and the inserted text. So we are still going to use our usual friend. Let's comment here. We're going to use our usual friend, the lorem ipsum. So we're going to use it down here again. So we're going to go lorem 5 again. So we are going to come up here. I'm going to cut this guy out, and then we'll work on our small test. So what's going to make is going to make that test to be smaller than the rest of the test. So if you save it, okay, let us write this is a small test. Yeah, in fact, no need. So let's just save it, and we'll come up here and we'll refresh and see. You guys see it now, it's a bit smaller than the rest of the test. Can you guys see this lorem ipsum is smaller than this dollar sit amen? I think this is Latin. I don't even know how to speak Latin, but anyways. So now we are going to journey ahead to deal with our del, delete, insert, and subscribe. So we are going to go ahead, copy our usual paragraph stuff, Ctrl C, come down here and paste it, close the tag, and we do our normal lorem ipsum of 5. So we are going to copy this guy out to save the stress, cut it out. I'm going to use the del. Can you guys see it now? The tag pops up. So when we paste it in here, what it's going to do is going to draw a line across it. You see it now, it drew a line showing you that this text has been deleted or it has been cancelled out. So that's what the del attribute does. That's what the del attribute does. So it makes the text feel like it's marked out or it's cancelled. So you're telling the user, you're trying to tell the user that, hey, I kind of deleted this text and I don't want you to view it anymore. So that's what it does. All right. So let us go ahead and continue with the rest of our tags. So the next one is going to be, let me make sure, okay. All right, let me make sure that we're still on. Let's check YouTube and make sure we're still on the same track. So the next one is going to be our inserted text. Yeah, so I'm going to use the rest of this to test it out. So let's cut it, and then let us do insert. Sorry about that. So let us use the insert attribute inx, that is it, and then we're going to paste our stuff in there and we're going to save it, and then we are going to see what it does and how it looks like. Okay, so what insert does, it underlines it. All right, so insert underlines it. Unlike deleted runs a line through it. Deleted strikes a line through the text, and insert draws a line underneath the text. So now we've done with insert, we've done with delete, we've done with small, we've done with mark, we've done with emphasize, we've done with the I tag, the strong tag, and the bold tag. So the next thing we are going to deal with is the subscribe and the superscribe. Before I bite my tongue, so we are going to do that together so we don't have to come back to our table of contents and keep checking out the things we are meant to do next, that kind of stuff. So we're going to paste this guy out, close the tag, and use our friend lorem ipsum. So lorem 5. So we are going to use this first side to do the subscribe. So do sub, you guys see it here, I'll paste it back there, then we use the rest of it to do the superscribe. You guys see it here. Now we paste it in. So what it's going to do is going to make one look on top and the other one look below. Can you guys see it now? So this is subscribe and this is superscribe. So you might be wondering how they get to write something. Let's say do 5 raised to the power 3 or 5 raised to the power 2 or 5 raised to the power 1. This is exactly how they do it. So this is entirely the content we have on text formatting. Let's go to our HTML and put it up here as a H tag. Let's do H1. I'm going to put a style. I'm going to make text align to be center. We're going to write cap lock. We're going to do text formatting. All right, so we're going to save that and we are going to break this image out. Sorry, that's not nice. That's not how it is. So I'm going to write PR. Yeah. So let us go ahead. Okay, so this is text formatting and these are the text formattings that we have. So the next thing in line, we've dealt with text formatting, the subscribe and all. So I'm going to deal with HTML commenting. So you guys might think that HTML commenting is not important, but trust me, it is really important. So HTML commenting, the browser does not process it. It doesn't see it as an actual code. It is not an actual code. So now what the browser does is once it sees a comment, it skips it, it jumps the line and continues on the next line of code. So what's HTML commenting? You use it for documenting. So now that we're writing all of this thing, we could come here and say to write a comment, you start with less than, then your exclamation and this is commenting. This is how commenting looks like, and whatever you type in here will not be read by the browser. The browser is not going to interpret it. So let's say we wrote okay, so we say started learning text formatting here. So because the browser does not see the commenting as an actual code, so it is used for documenting your code. It's very important, especially when you are working on a large scale project where you're working with 2 or more people. You document your code and you tell them, this is what I'm trying to do here. This is what this line or block of code is supposed to be doing. All right. So now the next thing we are going to treat is the shortcut for writing this comment. So to write this comment with a shortcut, you hold your control key. For those that are using Windows, you hold control key. For those that are using MacBook, it is command. So you hold control key and your // key, and it pops up this comment for you. So let us save that. That is all about HTML commenting. So now we are going to deal with HTML CSS. So remember you guys, earlier today I was telling you that CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet. Yes, Cascading Style Sheet. And you guys have been wondering, what am I trying to do? What is this thing all about? So now Cascading Style Sheets. Okay, let's see that this way. Your HTML, let's see as a human body now. Your HTML is like your skeleton, is your basic structure, is your structure for your code. Your HTML is your structure for your code. So now the HTML is the structure, while the CSS is the skin, the flesh that makes you look beautiful. You understand? So the CSS is responsible for making your website look so visually appealing. You know, you go to your website, be like, oh my god, this website looks fantastic. That is CSS. So as a front-end developer, you are expected to have a strong foundation on CSS, like a really strong foundation on CSS. If you don't know how to use CSS or work around CSS, you are useless as a front-end developer. So now let us deal with CSS. All right. So now they have internal CSS, they have inline CSS, internal and external CSS. So for the meantime, we are going to be dealing with these two. All right. and this one we won't deal with it that much. We are going to deal with these two. All right. So now for us to write an internal CSS, all right, this is basically an internal CSS. This right here is an internal CSS. So in CSS hierarchy, all right, in CSS hierarchy, the internal CSS comes first before, sorry, the inline CSS comes first before the internal CSS or the external CSS. All right. So now when you are loading your file, the browser first of all looks for the inline CSS. If it doesn't find it, it then looks for the internal CSS. If it's not available, then it will look for an external source of CSS file. So we've basically written an internal CSS without us even knowing it. So now this is it. To declare an internal CSS, you use the style attribute. Now to write an inline CSS, you write your inline CSS in the head or anywhere in the code, but it's more specific or it's more professional to write it in your head tag. So to do that, you use the style tag. So when you do the style tag, boom, this is basically how you start writing your inline CSS. Now to write an external CSS, you do it using linking. You link it. You see link, you do CSS, and this is how you link. This is how you link your external CSS. So you're not going to dive deeply into all of this until we get into CSS itself. So I don't want to confuse you guys or get you guys more confused in the concepts regarding all of this CSS and stuff. So when we start treating CSS, you guys are going to understand perfectly well how CSS works and what it's used for. So this is it about HTML CSS. All right. So now we are going to deal with HTML title. So for those of you that have been following this class, at the beginning of the class, I taught you guys this, how to write your title. Now this is it about HTML title, my first web page. So now the HTML title, it pops up here at the top of your page right here. So let me cancel out this guy. Sorry, this is my project I was working on. Let me cancel out these guys out so you have more space for that HTML stuff to show up more. Okay, can you guys see it here? It pops up here, and when you hover, you see my first website. So that is virtually what the HTML title is talking about. So now we are going to deal with HTML favicons. So now you guys notice that when you are going on browsers, you see these small icons that pop up here at the top of your browsers. Those are called favicons. All right, so we are going to learn how to insert our own favicon up there. So now you got to create your own favicon or icon. They have the specific format or specific height and width, but I think every image can do. So let us come here. I already wrote out the stuff, so let's copy it. Yes, I forgot, the favicon has to be in your head tag. All right, it has to be in your head tag. So the favicon is actually an image. Yeah, it's basically an image. So let's do my pics, my image.png. It might not work properly because that image is way too big, or it might work. Okay, it works. All right, can you guys see here? This image now is up here. So this image has basically become our logo. All right, so this is useful when you are trying to put a website logo on the top of the browser here. So you use the favicons. So to write a favicon, all right, you use the link, style, sorry, the link element, and you first of all specify the relation attribute. So what this relation attribute is doing is telling the browser that the relationship between what you are trying to do and this link is an icon. So it's telling the browser that this link is an icon, please. So treat this thing as an icon, please. I'm going to do the type. You see, this attribute is the type of content linked to it. So the type of content you are trying to link to this thing is an image or an icon. And now what this one does is this one gives the location, is a pointer location to where the image is located. So it can be located in your local machine, it can be something you grabbed online, it can be anywhere. So wherever it's coming from, you have to specify the path up here. So that is it about favicons and title. So now we are going to deal with HTML tables. All right, HTML tables is a very important feature. It's something that you use a lot as a front-end developer. So now to write a table, all right, so let us use our comment again to say you comment and we say dealing, let's just say dealing, sorry about that, let's say dealing with HTML tables. All right, so now to start a table, the first thing you do is to use the table tag. Now this is the basic structure of a table. So now this is a table tag. So to have that heading, you first do a tr. This stands for a table row. All right, remember where they have rows and column, like rows and columns. All right, so we are going to write the rows. To start with the first row, which is the head, you do th, which stands for t head. All right, and inside t head you do the th. So what it's going to do is going to make these things bolder. Sorry, do the th. So let's do like 3 of them. All right, so let's do, okay, let's do Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All right, so we're going to save it. So when we go to our browser, you're going to see something up here. Right, guys, see this is thick. This is mostly like a h tag or something like that, because it's been called a heading. This is what makes it look that bold. So we've done with the first heading, so we are going to go ahead and do the rows or the second column. So now we're going to do tr again and td. Now td stands for table data. This is where you include all the things. On Tuesday we eat beans, on Wednesday we eat, I like fufu, so Wednesday we eat fufu, or rather you call it apple, but for my fellow Igbo people we call it apple. So now when we come here and run back our code, so you guys notice something, the rice is underneath Monday, and beans is underneath Tuesday, and fufu is underneath Wednesday. So this is basically it about the table and table row. So now we're going to deal with the table attributes that comes with the table. All right, so now we've dealt with the table headers, right? So we are going to deal with the table borders, right? So to do that, let's just come here and say we do border, and we call it a border of 1. So now if you guys notice that this has been marked red, that is because HTML5 no longer supports it, but it will definitely work on your browser. So you guys see it now, it created a border around all of this thing. So this is basically it about table borders. So now the next thing we are going to deal is we've dealt with this and we dealt with that. We are going to deal with padding and spacing. So we do cell spacing, let's say we do 1. All right, I don't even know if that's going to work. Okay, it didn't work, so let's do cell padding. Cell padding should work. All right, okay, pardon me guys, sorry, even cell padding doesn't work. So as a developer you are bound to forget things, honestly. So as it is, I am forgetting things, so let's look it up real quick. All right, so I'm not expected to have all of these things in my head. I'm merely a human being, so I still have many things to worry about, like my babies, my wife, and all that. Right, so okay, this we're talking about the table size. So you can specify the width and the height of the table. That's not what we're looking for. So we came here to find the cell padding and cell spacing. All right. So okay, so they actually did it with pure CSS and with CSS. All right. So they don't have an actual attribute that helps you do that. So when we get to CSS, we are going to deal with it, or rather let's just do it with our inline CSS. All right, so let's use our inline CSS that we specified up here. All right, so we're going to do shift, we're going to do th and td. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say padding. We're going to make it a padding on px, so that should do a whole lot of thing up here. So let's go back to our code. Okay, you guys see it now, there is a space around them. So this is basically it about the cell spacing, cells padding and all that. So the cell spacing, I think the cell spacing uses different stuff. Yeah, so it's basically the same thing up here. This is crap. So the cool span and cool row, yeah, these ones you attribute it to. You guys see something here, so let's go ahead and apply that in our code. So to do the cool span and cool row, we are going to write it in here. So we say cool row or cool span. All right, so now cool span is going to take up the length on the column and not the row. So if we do 2, this is going to look weird actually, but regardless, let's just run it and see. So can you guys see it now? So this guy took like 2 spaces, giving this guy an extra space. Can you see now? It occupied the rice and beans. Yeah. So if we did 3, if we did 3 now, it's going to occupy all the tests and leaving Monday and Tuesday out. Can you guys see it now? So this is it about cool span. So here if we do cool row, or sorry, if you do row span, yeah, and do row span of 3, what it's going to do is going to take out 3, reduce it to 1, and see if there is something left for it to take over from. Yeah, nothing left to take over. So for that to work, you need like more attributes, which I'm getting so tired. So let us go ahead and deal with we've done with headers, padding, sizes, cool span. So I'm going to deal with table styling. So the table styling, you can add the border. Let's be using inline CSS to do that. So we can come here and say table, and we are going to say the background color, and we are going to set it to aquamarine. Weird colors though. So what it's going to do, you see, it changed the entire table color to marine. This is me styling the table right now. So we can say the border color, sorry, you can say border color. I don't expect you to understand all this crap CSS stuff because we haven't gotten to them, so just follow along. You can do border color, I'm sorry about that. You can do border color, and we can say red, and we save it, and it's going to turn the borders to be red. So this is basically it with table styling. So you guys, we have come to the end of today's class. So the next class is going to be tomorrow, and please I'm begging you all, please try to come on time. We are not paying for this class, nobody's charging you a dime for this class. All I'm begging and asking you guys for is to come to class and come on time. Be on time. We all had a decision to come by 7. I'm even sick, and I still gave it up to come to this class and make sure that you guys get what you guys need to get. And still, some of you are not even showing up. But regardless, we move. So the next class is going to be tomorrow by 9. So we had today's on by 7 because of the African Cup of Nations. I genuinely hope and pray that Nigeria wins. It's going to be a good stuff. and it's going to make the country a little bit lively and less frustrating for the moment. So see you guys tomorrow. Bye.